my coffee on your way.
Good morning, Pensacola. How are we today? Welcome to another 1 Million Cups. So today we have presenting first is the HappyArtTour, and then after that we have the Podfest Multimedia Expo. So without further ado, I'm just going to go ahead and bring out Gabrielle Herman with the HappyArtTour.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I am Gabrielle Herman, and I own the HappyArtTour. It is a pop-up interactive art experience. So what does that mean? Oh, maybe. Oh, it means my PowerPoint is broken. Yeah? So I'm just going to go ahead. Anyway while they work through their technical difficulties. Thought we had it figured out. Oh, there we go. Woohoo! So what is that? When I say art, I know a lot of people instantly think of a museum or gallery. This is much more sensory immersive than a museum or gallery tends to be. It's a pop-up, so my goal is to open November 1st and run through December 31st, and much more comparable to a painting with a twist or escape on Palafox. In the escape rooms, you buy a ticket online from a website that's under development. You buy a ticket online ahead of time for a designated time slot. You show up, and it's designed to be about an hour self-guided tour through 5 different installations. And each installation has an aspect for all of your senses. So we don't just want you touching or seeing the art, we want you hearing it, smelling it, tasting it, touching it, playing with the art, and it will play back a little bit. And this is based on a model that's being proven nationwide in larger cities right now. So New York, LA, Chicago, Dallas, all have different variations. My goal was to scale it down so that cities that are smaller in population, but still hugely rich in culture and history, like Pensacola, can still have a modern art experience. So to the business side of things, we're broken again. From the business side of things, what does that look like? So I have a projected expenses to get through December of $375,000. That's a lot of money for such a short time, but tickets will be $30 per person with an additional $2 service fee that my ticket processing company takes. We offer a $2 military discount to those with an active military ID, and children under 3 are free. So, combating that expense, if I see 14,000 people in my 2 months of operation, I will have complete return on investment plus 30%. So 14,000 people is also a large number, but Pensacon sees 14,000 people in their 1 3-day weekend every year. The Greater Gulf Coast Arts Festival that coincides with Fufu Fest and runs November 2nd through 4th of this year saw about 150,000 people last year. So the people are here. And my goal is to connect with Fufu Fest and connect with local artists and businesses in the area. Aside from just a small business supporting other small businesses within the community, I also want to be able to add a piece of that Pensacola flair and pizzazz to the experience that I'm bringing. So marketing is the most important aspect of this successful pop-up experience from the standpoint of word of mouth and social media marketing is the biggest by far. So I want you to come in, experience, and take a picture, post it on social media, and tag us with what a great time you had. And then I instantly have access to your network as well. So the idea is that you join us as solo, as a date with your family, with a group of friends. You join us, let your imagination and creativity run with playful abandon as you immerse yourself in 8,000 square feet of fun. I have an 8,000 square foot building located at 401 North Balin. It has plenty of parking, but is still downtown, so I have that market that I'm reaching, which is awesome. You may have seen me at the last gallery night. I was handing out beach balls as kind of a market test. And lucky you, you get a beach ball for being here today. And So I am intending to be at next gallery night. You'll start hearing more and more about me. My website is set to be done within the next 2 weeks, and that will start the full-on push of my social media rollout to get me through to November. Thank you. Any questions? Any questions? Yes?
Do you have a relationship with the group?
So I've applied to be one of their events, and am hoping to, ideally, I'd like to connect to their app and offer a discount that if you purchase a ticket from my website through their app, you get an additional discount during that 12-day festival.
So you've applied to be
I've applied to be an event with them, yes. Right, to be one of their events, yes. Yes?
You say there's 4 experiences?
There are 5 installation rooms, yes.
Okay, for $30
You get all 5 experiences. It's designed to take you about an hour to walk through the 5 different experiences. Each aspect, each interactive sensory aspect is included with that. So the things you'll be tasting are included with that as well. Yes? So I have collaborated with several local artists. I'm hesitating because I don't necessarily have permission to be using their name right now. But Rafi Perez is one of them. And I'm putting out a call to artists this coming week to try to get some artists to help paint my white walls. I have a lot. 8,000 square feet is a lot of white wall space. And I'm not an artist by any means. So I'm putting out a call to artists to get more artists involved in helping build out the process. Yes, ma'am. It is www.thehappyarttour.com. It is, right now there's a landing page where you can sign up for our newsletter. The page should go live in the next 2 weeks. Yes, ma'am.
How long is the installation open and what happens at the end of that?
So right now I'm set to be open November 1st through December 31st with the option based on demand to extend an additional month or so beyond that. But the idea is to pop up and pop down and then pop up in a new location. So if it does really well here, move it on to another city. I have a list of cities that I'd like to go to. But again, keeping in mind cities that are smaller in population but still culture and history rich. The long-term goal would be to be able to extend internationally as well, like not just Canada, but also overseas. But for right now, we're sticking with the one and seeing how it does. Yes, sir?
What ticketing company are you using, and are you getting any rebates when you're selling tickets to them?
So I am using ShowClicks, and no. Yeah, no rebates right now. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
Will you have special rates for groups and filling in times that may not be booked?
As of right now, no. So based on the Pensacola market and what other experiences do for their hours, it'll be mostly an afternoon and evening are my opening hours, except for the weekends, of course. And so from there, I don't necessarily have plans for discounting off-peak times, but my hope is that during the day I can connect as a potential location for business meetings and like team building or school field trips, things like that. Yes, sir?
Is the 375 just to the Pensacola location, or is that to bring it on the road?
That is just to get me now through the December Pensacola location.
And what's the capacity per day that you can do as far as people are concerned?
That's a very good question. So what we have set up right now is that every 10 minutes we can let in 10 people. So the max group of 10 every 10 minutes. We'd like to keep it down to just 5 groups an hour so that there's a little bit of wiggle room in that. And that includes like a 10-minute intro, so them getting in the lobby, going through, here are the restrooms, things like that. So ideally, I can see 1,470 people in a week. So again, my hours vary daily, so that answer changes daily, but weekly, that's what I'm looking at right now.
Is that ratio even?
that brings me to complete return on the $375 plus 30%. Any other questions?
When will we go live with selling tickets?
Tickets should go live within the next 4 weeks. So my website will go live, and then my ticket site should go live pretty shortly after that. Oh. Yes, ma'am.
Are you doing any events ahead of the opening?
Yes, so there will be, November 1st is our grand opening. The goal is to have the site completely ready by October 1st. That way I can do a soft opening event, test it, make sure that everything works and it actually flows as well as I'd like. Most of that will be by invitation only. The soft opening event will be a soft invitation only guest event for one night in the middle of October, but surrounding that, I'd like to do invitation only events leading up to grand opening. Yes, sir? That's a great question. Thank you for asking that. I am actually, so I acknowledge that because this isn't a long-term thing, there may not be much long-standing impact. My hope is to be able to engage adults in the fun side of their brain and the art scene that's here. Pensacola has a huge, thriving art scene that I don't think lots of people know about, or as many people know about it that should. And so my goal is to help bring awareness in a modern way that's fun and exciting for adults. Because I know when people think playful and beach balls, sometimes you think of kids. And I want it to be something that can engage grown-ups as well. Yes, ma'am?
Can you connect with the local art centers, like First City Art Center, museum?
So I have reached out to the majority of the local galleries, museums, and art centers in town, and have gotten various feedback. I've gotten a lot of, that's such a great idea, we're so looking forward to it, but we're not actually going to get involved with it. Good luck setting up, we'll see you when you're open, has been a lot of the feedback that I've gotten. Aside from the fact that I get tons of references for artists I should be connecting with and reaching out to, and various artists, again, within the community that I can bring on board to provide some kind of aspect, whether it's, so Rafi Perez is on board and he's doing an entire room installation. My call for artists is to maybe get someone to paint a wall and then somebody to paint another wall. So the level of involvement varies, but for the most part, the official organizations haven't really, they've said they support me and hope I do well, but haven't really wanted to connect further than that. Yes, sir?
It's going to be less expensive to do the next one, the next city, because they already have all the props and what can travel from here and save you money on that.
Yeah, that's a great question, and that's absolutely a factor that we're looking into. Ideally, the next one doesn't take as long to set up and doesn't cost as much money. So certain aspects, again, like because it's just a pop-up, if I have somebody who wants to paint a wall, at the end of the day, that will, like at the end of the run, that wall has to be painted white again because I don't own the building. So from that standpoint, there are aspects of the installations that will be movable, transitory, but other aspects will be, and the nice thing about the installations and this idea is that the installations can evolve and change as we go. So I'll be open during the holidays. I plan to change out one installation to make it Christmas themed and things like that to touch into, again, to keep the local culture and connect to what's happening right now today, not just in Pensacola, but nationwide. So some of those, and again, as I move, I want to connect with the local culture in an area where I am. So some of those installations will change just to match and hopefully connect with local businesses and artists in that area in particular. Yes, ma'am?
Are the artists being paid to come in to do the wall and giving them a fee to?
So right now I am not officially commissioning work. I'm supplying materials and then agreeing that the rest is based on mutual marketing benefits of you can have your name in there on the wall, and that will provide great marketing when somebody takes a selfie and tags you in it because your information is right there. None of the art, again, it's not officially for sale. It's not really a gallery. But the mutual recognition and awareness that having people come through can bring artists, and I'll be marketing them on my social media, in print materials, acknowledging them in the space as, thanks, this couldn't have been made possible without great art by local artist or local business.
And you're trying to find like 5 different types of experiences that different types of art that would be
Yes.
installation.
Yes.
Not just like a painting and a paint like different types of paintings.
Right, so again, completely interactive and immersive so that you're not just looking at art on a wall. Like, I'm asking for artists to come in and paint a wall, but that room is still going to have several other aspects that engage the rest of your senses and engage you in what's happening in that room. So, for example, there's going to be a beach ball room that connects to the local culture of everybody knows that iconic beach ball tower. And so maybe I'm looking for an artist to come in and paint to their their rendering version of Pensacola Beach, or a fun beach scene that can tie into Pensacola, things like that, where I already have the ideas for the installations in each room, but I am now looking to connect with the artist to help bring that to life.
Did they just apply or collaborate with you on the website?
Yeah, so I'll be putting out the call for artists on Monday, hopefully, and that will have an email that they can apply to. I'm just asking for 3 to 5 pieces of previous work so I can get an idea of what they're doing, and from that standpoint, making sure that this is all appropriate for public viewing by all ages, and it's the Happy Art Tour, so bright, colorful, fun, playful.
Instagram page or?
I haven't started the social media rollout for the Happy Art Tour. Like, I have the handles designated, yes, but I haven't started that yet. Again, because I don't have a website yet, and I just got into my building space on the 1st, so I'm just starting the actual build-out process. And so I didn't want to be posting too far ahead of time for something that's only going to be here for a short time. Yes, ma'am.
Can you tell us just a little bit about your background?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'd love to hear that. I've seen you here at several events.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about kind of you making that leap into just like, hey, now's the time I'm going to do this. What's your entrepreneurial story?
Yeah, so I am 24. I studied at the University of Ole Miss, got a degree in sociology. I loved my classes, had a blast, and then realized that now I'm out of school. What am I going to do with my life? I took some time to travel and made sure that in every city that I traveled to, I went into a museum. I love culture, I love history, I appreciate the arts, even though I am not an artist. And noticed, the sociologist in me noticed that within the first 10 minutes of entering a museum, people are on their phones, whether they're taking selfies with a picture and posting captions about it, or they're on their phone playing a game. They have disengaged from the art that's in front of them. And so I came back and was sifting through, okay, what do I actually want to do? And decided that I wanted to provide an experience that was going to be memorable and impactful to an individual, and something that allowed them the chance to experience art in whatever way they experience art, because I acknowledge that, okay, for some people, looking at art isn't how they engage and get a perspective and appreciate an artist's work. Maybe it's through other sensory, tactile, taste buds, smelling, hearing things. So I wanted to find a way to make that possible, and I found that, again, like I'd said previously, that it's a model that's being proven nationwide right now. There's the Museum of Ice Cream, Happy Place, Sweet Tooth Hotel, Candytopia, things like that happening in the bigger cities. And I've been in Pensacola for the better part of 10 years. I love it here. I love watching it thrive. It has changed drastically in 10 years. And I decided I wanted to be a part of that push. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
Is there any plans to have any theatrical or live performance out or anything like that?
So the live performance part, I was trying to figure out a way to make that happen. And I think the most effective way to make that happen and still stay safe in the building that I have and make everything still flow nicely and still be the full experience that I want it to be, is that the theatrics come in with my staff. I'm calling them my color guard, and they are there to engage you. If they see somebody who looks bored, it is their job to make sure they leave with a smile on their face, whether that means taking a picture for them or throwing a beach ball at them or helping them connect in some way so that everyone leaves with a smile on their face. They will be my actors. They're putting on the show and representing the happy in the Happy Art Tour. Yes, sir?
How big of a building do you need when you're going to take it on tour?
That's a really good question. So in the bigger cities, they've mostly been taking over abandoned department stores because they're there all over New York. And so they end up with 20,000 square feet that they get to work with. And in Pensacola, I wasn't going to find 20,000 square feet that I could afford for such a short time. So it was by happenstance that I lucked across this building that's perfectly 8,000 square feet, has a great layout. It took me about a month and a half of sifting through various properties in town to find one that matched all of my requirements of free parking, still in the downtown area, with enough space to provide everything that I want to. And ideally, it could get smaller. I know that there's a location in Dallas that uses just 1,500 square feet. Like, essentially, they just popped up in a house that's in the middle of the city and are there for the next month and then are gone. I wanted it to be a little more engaging than that, and if I'm charging $30, I want to give you as much bang for your buck as possible. So 1,500 square feet, I can walk through in 10 minutes. And so the idea was to still be able to give you that hour-long experience and be able to engage you for that long. And so I started looking in the 10 to 20,000 square foot range because I said, oh, well, that's what the bigger cities are doing. I can do that. And then I realized 20,000 square feet is a big space. And so I narrowed that down to, okay, maybe between 5 and 10 still gives me the space to do what I want to do. And lucked into this 8,000 square foot building. So going forward, ideally, that'll change depending on how this rolls out. I mean, I may find that this was way too much space, or this was not enough space, and I need to be able to have more people come through at any given moment. Those will be learning curves, but for the most part, I'm thinking that 8,000 to 10,000 square feet is the right size.
Have you thought of a model where people pay you to come out and do a smaller one at a college, for instance?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is definitely scalable to make it smaller, absolutely. So one of my first, as I was going through looking for a building, I had the conversation of maybe this is something I should just do as like a pop-up tent, and you can walk through on gallery night, pay $5, and you get to walk through this little tent, have an experience, and then leave, and do it like that on the smaller scale. That didn't quite match what I had for my dream, and so I said, I'm gonna go for what I have as my dream, and if I need to scale it back from there, I'll learn and do that, but for right now, I'm reaching for the stars. Yes?
So the final question that we have for you is, what can the community do for you?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have a crowdfunding campaign that closes next Wednesday. It is on the Facebook. It will be on the co-working Facebook page, and I can get you a link. I would love for you to go to the site. You can get more information on my project. You can watch a video of me handing out beach balls at gallery night. And if you can donate, lovely. If not, I'd really just love for you to share it with as many people as possible, because I can't do this alone. Thank you. Thank you. So I'm just going to set this over there. Thanks.
All right, if you're standing, we've got some chairs in the front.